I am live. I am ready to go. We're going to have fun doing this. What's going on, everybody? ODC. And yes, I knew I was live when I was saying all that. But yeah, so I've been kind of wanting to do this, and I'll wait for some people to kind of pop in because I did want to do this live. I was initially going to do this as recorded series and just spend I don't know, anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes just kind of talking about a figure, one figure in my collection each time I did this. And we're going to get going in a second. I just kind of wanted to explain what this is because it will be a ongoing series. I actually wanted to start doing this about, I don't want to say about a year and a half ago. And just a lot's changed within my life within the last year and a half, and stuff has gotten in the way, and creatively and just whatever. But I'm finally doing it here. I'm going to start this off as a live thing and see how that goes. I've picked a few for the for Series One's selection, as far as just some of my favorite action figures that I own in my collection. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to, be new figures. It could be old figures. It could be anything that I've owned I own period throughout my collection, vintage, new, whatever. So if you see some older releases on here, that's why. I also there's a lot of other figures that I have that are just in storage back in Buffalo. Before when I moved, I couldn't bring everything down here with me. I just didn't have the storage space for it, so I had it stored in Buffalo. But I'm going to work with what I have here, and most of that stuff is um, like, so I got some 3 3/4 inch, 6 inch stuff. So there's going to be some of that in this. This is not a one-time deal. Like I said, this is going to be an ongoing series, and I just thought it's something that would be fun and something different to do instead of just doing the garden variety review all the time. So with that being said, no more bullshitting around. I'm going to get to the first entry. This is, like I said, I don't really like doing top 10 lists anymore unless it's like maybe a list of just action figures I'd like to see released next year or something like that. Maybe I'll do that at the end of the year, next month or something. But as far as this goes right here, this is just going to kind of be, and nothing is in order. It's just kind of me wanting to showcase an action figure, talk about why I like it, and that's pretty much it. This is kind of just something fun I wanted to do. So, without any further ado, I'm not going to waste anybody's time. One of my favorite figures, and I just, it's actually, and some of these action figures I'm going to be showing are like, some of them don't necessarily have to have the best articulation, range of motion, and stuff and such, but aesthetically, an action figure can look great on a shelf, and I can appreciate that also. That comes with collecting. Like, there's a lot of DC Direct figures that I still love that don't necessarily have the best articulation, but you know, they they still appeal to me aesthetically. From an action figure standpoint, they're probably not that good, but I'm gonna get to the first one, and he, like I said, this is more of an aesthetic looking figure, and I'll give reasons why. But he's still one of my favorites, and I just can't let it go. It's the NECA Keaton Batman. I still find myself loving this figure every time I look at it. I look at it; it's always on my shelf. It's always been on my shelf. So I got to readjust my camera there. It's always been on my shelf. I actually get to look at it every day in my display area in my collection room, my small collection room I have here. But I find myself always loving this figure. And NECA did a really good job with just the look. I wish the cape was a little bit thicker. Um, it could have been better, but this was a $20 figure. And I think I actually got this while I was working at Toys R Us way back when it was released. This, and then I think what was it? The Joker came out from The Dark Knight, and wasn't a big fan of the Dark Knight Joker, but the Keaton Bats, when this came out, I think this initially came out with a Batman DVD, which I actually have because I ordered it with the DVD. But it was later released on its own. But the initial pickup was with the DVD. It's like I said. So this figure is not necessarily the best articulated range of motion figure. He's not. He's not really. NECA has this thing with me where I just don't trust some of the older joints on these figures, and they start to kind of wear and disintegrate over time. So he's kind of just one of those figures where he just stands and he just hangs out. He's not really all that fun to pose. He's kind of like a throwback to, like I said, like a DC Direct figure. He does still have range of motion. He does have some articulation, but um, for the most part, I get worried with these legs. Like even these legs are moving together with each other. But they got that Keaton '89 Batman look, and that's kind of the important part. They got the Keaton face down. It looks really good. I don't really have too many complaints. That maybe if I could complain about something, maybe the head's a little bit too large, but um, he, they could have. I know he was actually skinnier in the Batman suit, but it just seems like the chest is a little wide, and then the skinny little arms, and then the big head. But for some reason, it's really the only Keaton Batman I have, other than the '89 release from Kenner that I still have, and it does not have its cape. But that's the one from when I was a kid. That's really the only other Keaton Batman I have. I don't have any others. This is pretty much it, and this is still one of my favorite Batman action figures, even though it doesn't do that much action. It just kind of just stands there and looks like Keaton Batman. So I can appreciate that, and I really do. I just love looking at it. I don't know what it is. I put him on my movie shelf, and he looks fantastic. So if you haven't had a chance to pick him up, I would definitely. He's a solid recommend. If you don't want to spend big bucks on the SH Figure Arts, like $70 on the SH Figure Arts, or on a Keaton Hot Toys Batman, those get expensive quickly. Low Monty, how's it going? Hey, how are you doing? Um, this is a good, if you can find it for around the $20, $25 price point, I would definitely pull the trigger. I think this is a solid Keaton Bats, and he's still always going to be one of my favorites, I think, unless maybe, I don't know, McFarlane can one up it. Um, like I said, there's no real rhyme or reason behind any of these picks. I just kind of looked at my shelves and I just kind of picked one up, picked one up, picked one up. Um, the next one's probably going to be on another unpopular one, but I don't really care. And I know a lot of people don't like this action figure line, and I think I'm knocking figures all over the place because there's figures everywhere on my review table right now. But it's another figure I just like to look at. He doesn't need to do much. He just needs to look like he does, and that's the animated Justice League. I believe this was the DC app exclusive that I actually picked up for, I think it was like $20, 20, $25, something like that. They recently went on sale, but I think the the wall, the forced paywall behind these figures, which was you had to sign up for the DC app to be eligible to even purchase these, which I think is just stupid. Um, on DC's or Warner Brothers or whoever you want to blame for that, um, their decision. But this is animated Superman. I just needed an animated Superman. I have animated Batman. I needed an animated Supes to go with him. He's not, like I said, he's not necessarily the most fun figure to have, but I just love the way he looks. He looks great, and I loved the original Superman, the Adventures of Superman, the animated show, and that was a lot of fun show. It came after the iconic Batman the animated series, one of my favorite series of all time, and I just like looking at this guy. Him standing right next to Batman from the DC Collectibles animated Batman, and it just works for me. It really does, and just love aesthetically looking at him. There's going to be other figures that don't look that great, but have great articulation that I'm probably going to have on the list too. So, but I love this Superman. He looks so great, and he just needs to look the way he does. I still don't, like I said, he doesn't necessarily have the best range of motion, nor the best articulation. And some of the articulation points are kind of weird. They got this like old school, like DC UC style legs. And they're not necessarily the best as far as looks goes, but just that animated look for Superman, I love it. Um, Continuing with the DC theme here, because I can't not have this guy on here. I can't. I have to have him on here. And eventually, I'll bring myself to once I find it, unbox the Batman version as well. Um, but it's the NECA Superman. I just think that this is one of my favorite Superman figures that's been released. I love it. I adore it. It looks so 90s, and I love the way it looks, and that's pretty much it. Like I said, the range of motion on him, I just something with NECA. I don't trust if I overuse or try to push a joint. I feel like something's gonna break on it, like the hip will break off or a leg will snap off or something. But I just really love this Superman. It would be cool if we had like an embossed Superman logo on his chest. It's just kind of painted. On the cape, we do have a Superman logo on the back. I probably should come around to doing a review of this guy, but it's a really good figure, and it's unfortunate that we had to get this in an exclusive pack with a Joker alien figure that I could care less about. I actually sold off the Joker alien figure. I just wanted the Superman figure. But if you do get a chance to try and if you do get I can't talk. If you do get a chance to pick him up for a decent price, I would try and snag him. But he's obviously one of my favorites. Um, Holonet. Holonet? Is that how you say it? Holonet one. Hello, how's it going? Um, Next up, we're going to kind of change gears here, and I'm just going to kind of leave all these guys in the background, and I'll try to, hopefully they don't fall over. This animated Superman does not have the best ankles, so or the best hips. His hips are kind of loosey-goosey. But there you go with that. Okay, we're going to kind of change gears here, and we're going to go a little bit outside the box, and we're going to talk about some wrestling figures for a second. And one of the figures I'm most impressed with, and this is what I think Mattel should have been doing for a long time, is the Ultimates line, and it's the Ultimate Shawn Michaels from the Montreal Screwjob. This is a really, really well done figure. The face sculpt isn't, the absolute best face sculpt, but he comes with tons of extra stuff you can use. He's got toe articulation. He's got double jointed elbows for once. Thanks God. Thanks God. Thank God. But I mean, there's a couple of the Ultimates that I like. Like I love this Ultimates Triple H. I think this is like a definitive looking Triple H right there. It's his 2000 look. And then we've got the Ultimates Bret Hart, which is just absolutely fantastic. Both of these figures are great. They're very well done. He's got a removable jacket that's actually a plastic jacket, so you get to keep that sculpt, and he comes with two extra arms that aren't uh, aren't jacketed, so you can switch those out. It comes with extra hands. You can remove the sunglasses. This is his 1994 SummerSlam look, where he faced Owen Hart in the steel cage match for the WWF title at the time. Obviously, this is from the Montreal Screwjob, where Shawn, won the title from Brett, technically, but he left with both titles, the European title and the WWF title at the time. So that's from 1997. And then you've got the 2000s Triple H look, which is just, like I said, I think it's my favorite Triple H look for him. It's simplistic, but it's also a version that we haven't really got from Triple H in a long time. We got the 2002 look from the Defining Moments, but they haven't really touched on that 2000s era. We've gotten a bunch of, I think, 96, we got 97 Triple H, and that two pack with China that came out recently, which is a very good two pack as well. Mostly for the China figure, but these are really good figures. Like I said, the Ultimates line is a little bit more money, but I feel like this is what Mattel should have been releasing as far as wrestling action figures from the get-go. Double jointed knees, double jointed elbows need to occur for a wrestling figure. Just so they can pose better. I feel like giving them single jointed elbows kind of hurts the figure, and I'm being honest when I say that. But these are three of just my favorites of a plethora of wrestling action figures that I own. Pardon me a second while I just plug my phone in. There we are. I don't have to worry about anything going dead. If fucking Green Goblin will get out of my way, thank you. But these are fantastic figures. I think if you pick up any of the three here, you'll be very happy with yourself. And like I said, none of these picks that I make are in order by any means. They're all just kind of some figures I just wanted to talk about, shoot the shit with you guys about. We're gonna keep the variety going here, and we're gonna switch to Marvel Legends for a second. And I have a couple Marvel Legends that I do want to talk about here. I'm going to kind of stick with the theme of the threes here. And I'm going to go with the Marvel Legends thing. Oh man, I was so pumped when they announced this figure, and then to see how well it came out, and even the second release that came out in the single card. Well, this came out in a single card too, but this was a Walgreens exclusive. Even to see that the second release that came out, which had less paint apps, but I still like that figure. The range of motion, the articulation, and this big figure, which could have been a Build-A-Figure. They really could have gone the lazy Hasbro route and given us this as a Build-A-Figure. But the paint apps on him, I think this is the definitive thing action figure to get. I think it's the best one to get. It's one of my favorites. It's, like I said, it's on my main shelf that I look at every day. And I love looking at it. Fantastic Four is one of my favorite groups, regardless of whether people think they're boring or not. I don't care. I love them. But yeah, this thing figure, like I said, range of motion, articulation, and the paint detail on here. For a lot of Hasbro releases, we don't get a whole lot of paint detail with the comic book figures. And I was so happy to see this when I got this in package, this hefty, bulky figure, that not only did we get this figure with the paint detail that it comes with, but he also came with extra hands and an extra head. So, I mean, I think it'd be a hard argument to say that there's really anything that's better. I mean, I think he's the right stature. Ben Grimm's really only like around 6'1", so he's not really the biggest. I know artists can depict him as being bigger at times, but I think this is the go-to one. I really do. So let's kind of we'll put him over here. I don't want him to cover up everybody here, but we'll just go with that. We can still see Superman's head in the back there. All right. But yeah, that is definitely a fantastic figure. No pun intended. Next up, what do I want to do next? I'm gonna have to go with this guy, and hopefully I don't have to readjust my camera again. But it's Beast. I can't I can't fathom enough how much I was so happy that Hasbro finally gave us a new sculpt for Beast. I still love the Toy Biz version. I think the Toy Biz version still can hold up, and it looks great. This is more of that real deal Jim Lee 92 look for Beast. It's a little bit more feral, but I remember this being on the back of those the trading cards and stuff, or on the trading cards, excuse me, but also on the cover of X-Men issue number 1. So for the Jim Lee run. But this is just an awesome figure. Very happy to have it. And I still don't understand. I still don't think it warrants the prices it's going for now, like $84 to $100. People are paying for it, loose 60. Like it's insane that people are paying the prices that they are for this guy. Hasbro needs to get their head out of their ass and re-release this figure so everyone's got a chance to pick him up. But he's a really good one, and still another one that's in my front display as far as my Marvel Legends stuff goes. And he's one of my favorite characters of all time. So, all right. So we're doing this in threes. I did that in three, that in three, that in three, and we'll get to the next character. Action figure expert, how's it going, bud? This one is, maybe a little bit. Someone will be like, maybe this is a little bit more of a boring pick for some, but we waited so long to get this figure, and he's another one of my favorite characters, and he's simple, but it works. It's one of those cases of it's simple, but it works, and it's the Jim Lee Cyclops. I can't not have Cyclops in here. I got Thing, which was one of my favorite characters, Beast, and Cyclops. And I'm not just going on by favorite character, but it's also by how that figure works and how he looks. And this is the original single carded release that came in I believe the Warlock Build-A-Figure wave. So this is obviously not the one with the jacket, which is just as good, but it is a different version. I wanted to have both. So, I mean, whether you go with that version or you go with this version, I think they're both good. Obviously, the yellows are different. This is a brighter yellow on this guy. This is more of an orangey look for that. So it's kind of a pick your poison type of figure pick for me. But this is the one I think I like the most, and I'm pretty happy with it. But yeah, just another one of my favorites. He's nothing really all that special. He's just on the Bucky Cap body, and everything. All like this is loose, which kind of bugs me a little bit. I kind of wish that this was sculpted into the body. I think that would have made a little bit more sense as far as range of motion goes. He's a little bit limited. But I love this Cyclops, and it was actually a hard pick between that and the 80 Cyclops. But like I said, this isn't a top 10 list by any means. That other Cyclops and other Cyclopses down the down the road could make the series as well. But as far as series 1 goes, these are some of my like really up there favorite figures. Next, and I'm starting to run out of space, so I might have to pan out here a little bit more. You're going to start seeing other figures that don't belong on here, or maybe not, maybe down the road, poke through because I'm running out of room. But next up is, so we did 3 Marvel Legends, we did 3 DC figures, and I don't have any of my DC UCs here, so if you're wondering where the hell my DC UC picks would be, they're going to have to be in a series down the road because I just simply don't have them physically here. They're in storage. So next up, we'll do 3 Star Wars figures. Why the hell not, right? we'll go with, and this is tough. There's a lot of good, really good Star Wars figures, but and this is a relatively newer one from a newer series. You might know it. It's called The Mandalorian, and it's the Paz Vizsla heavy artillery or heavy Mandalorian trooper. They call him the heavy Mandalorian trooper. I call him Paz Vizsla because he's a descendant of oh god, what the heck is his name? Oh, now I look like an idiot. Anyway, but you get my point. Pre Vizsla, sorry. He's a descendant of Pre Vizsla. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. It was like a ADD moment. But overall, I think everything, even aesthetically, overall as a figure, he's fantastic, objectively speaking. But subjectively speaking, excuse me, everything just, I don't know, he's just the right size. He looks great. He's a lot of fun to pose. Nothing really gets in the way, even though he's a bulkier figure. He looks the part. He's got this awesome like flamethrower right here, and then he's got this crazy awesome big heavy machine gun with a jetpack attached to it. Like, who wouldn't want a heavy machine gun with a jetpack attached to it? I mean, come on. It's awesome. The paint detail on him, it looks gritty, it looks grimy. It's just really well done. It's a very well done figure. It's still to this day one of my favorite Black Series figure. I know they re-released the him in a, what was it, like a Mandalorian, I think it was like concept art figure line, which I'm not really feeling. I'll be honest with you. It's kind of a, you have to really, really want that, or maybe if you missed out on this one initially, because he was a deluxe figure, I believe. So I think he ran around $29.99. But if you can find this guy for around $30, I think that's the right way to go. So there's that. Yes, old school Shinobi. This is the Black Series 6-inch line right here. Thank you, HoloNet. You've got 3 as well. That's awesome, man. All right. Next Black Series figure, and this is very tough because there's a lot of Black Series figures I like. But I'm gonna have to go with, because this is one of the first characters I ever saw as a kid. And as far as official Black Series releases go, sorry, I had to run over there because I changed my mind last second. I am gonna have to go with I believe this was a Walmart exclusive Jedi Luke Skywalker. There's nothing really all that crazy to him. And obviously this is from Return of the Jedi, which is my favorite still to this day. I don't care how many people want to hate on that movie. You can kiss my ass. Return of the Jedi is still my favorite of the Star Wars movies. And as much as people want to say that the blue lightsaber is the most important one, I think the green lightsaber is important as well, because it really shows that Luke took that last step or that next step that he needed to take. And this is actually Luke's lightsaber. It's not Anakin's lightsaber. So it was an important thing to have. I know some people diss the green lightsaber. I don't know why. But it's an important step as a Jedi to take, to have your own lightsaber and construct your own lightsaber. So that's kind of like a rite of passage almost. But I love this figure, and like I said, this is like this is the first character I remember seeing when I first saw Return of the Jedi, which was obviously my first Star Wars film I got to watch, actually. But this was the scene where he walked in and he was cloaked, and I was like, who the hell is that? And then first of all, I didn't even know what the hell Star Wars was. I was like, what the hell is this? And then I was watching it on TV because, I was born 83. So this movie came out 83. Obviously, I wasn't old enough to understand it or watch it when it came out, even though I was born the same year that it came out. I had to wait until it was on HBO to watch it because back then you had to wait, and my parents weren't rich, so we didn't get the VHSs when they just dropped or anything like that. I don't even think we had a VHS player until I was about seven or eight. So, but and the VHS player was like a big deal back then. um, so uh, I still love this figure, and like I said, some of it might be nostalgia driven, which it is. But this is a subjective video anyway, so it doesn't matter. Um, I love the sculpt. I think it's one of the best Luke Skywalker sculpts that we got. I think it's one of the closest ones to Mark. It's hard to get that Mark Hamill face. I don't know what it is about Mark Hamill's face. It's so unique. It's just you can't harness it in action figure form. Even the current one that just came out, the Endor one, it's a little off. But I think Figuarts might have got it the closest. But yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites, and like I said, there's nothing else other than nostalgia driven. I'm pretty sure it's the same body as the the first Blue Label. I believe it was no, was it Red Label? Yeah, it was no. Wait, I think it was Blue Label. No, yeah, Blue Label came first. It was the same as the Blue Label Jedi Luke kind of skinny body, but they put this newly sculpted, excuse me, kind of tunic or whatever you want to call it, Jedi robe garb over it, and it kind of beefs him up a little bit, where he doesn't look too, you know, needing to eat a cheeseburger look, But then again, Luke was a skinny dude. It's not like he was a beefy, burly dude like Paz Vizsla over here. But I think that actually the hood, they got it right too. That's the other thing. The hood actually doesn't look too bad. Usually with most Hasbro Black Series releases, the hoods on these figures are, oh my God, atrocious. But I think it actually looks pretty decent. Sorry, knocking over Cyclops there. He said, Old School Shinobi says, same here. I was 8 when it came out. I had the biker scout figure before I saw the movie. I did too. The biker, the scout trooper is still my favorite trooper of all time. Before I saw the movie, and for some reason I remember playing with him as a good guy and it didn't sink home. He was a stormtrooper variant. Hamill wanted to pack on muscle for the Return of the Jedi and go all badass Jedi, but Lucas told him nah. Yeah, Lucas was telling everybody, he was taking everybody to the damn fat farms back then. Carrie Fisher is openly told, she's like, yeah, he told me when he was casting me for A New Hope that I had to go to a fat farm and lose weight. I was like, God damn, she's not even fucking fat. What's wrong with you, George? Everybody has to be a damn twig. Shit. But I guess different time. Different time. HoloNet says, I love Return of the Jedi since May of 83. Yep. Yeah, I was literally born 1 month before, I think just over a month before Return of the Jedi came out. I'm April of 83. So, yeah. Still love that movie. Don't care if anybody wants to make fun of it because of fucking Ewoks and kiss my ass. And I'm not talking about anybody here. I'm just saying other people in general. They just love to shit on that movie because of that. And I'm like, grow up. There's childlike aspects in every single film, so having one more isn't any different. So next up, and it's tough. This is really tough because I want to put somebody in here, but I want to go with the same theme again, I guess. We'll move him over a little bit so he's out of the way. But it's such a cool figure, and I love the show that much. I'm going to put the new Beskar armor Mandalorian. I really like this figure. I was kind of let down that Hasbro won't pull the trigger on a cloth cape with him, so I pulled the trigger on a cloth cape for him, and I think it looks good. He does have his jetpack on, so it does fit with a jetpack. But I really like that we got the insignia right there for him, and it's not really all that different from the first release. Um, there's some differentiations between the gauntlets, and I'm probably gonna do a full review on this guy. But we get his jetpack. Sorry, I'm poking Luke Skywalker in the eye with his his rifle. um, but it's just, you want to have that Beskar armor look, and he just looks so good. And I love the character, I love the show. And if I can put this guy, which was only featured in really one episode, um, and I love him that much, I can put him in some of my favorites. I'd have to put him in here too. So, but yeah, articulation, range of motion is this pretty much the same as the original release. It's just different armor in certain points, and he comes with a jetpack, which is necessary. That's part of the character now. He said he's got to get himself one of those, and he did. So thanks Shinobi. I'm glad you guys like the cape. Thank you very much. All right, so we did 3, 3, and 3. I wanted to add. I wanted to add. I think we'll do one more, and then we'll call it for the favorites here. Oh no, I wanted to do some 3 3/4 inch or 4 inch figures. I'll just call them 4 inch figures. That's pretty much what they are. I can't not add those in because, but here we go. And this is kind of this isn't just the only one. I like all three. I just didn't want to have all three up in the shot. But it is the Joy Toy Paratrooper 3-pack. Oh my god, this is just, I love this 3-pack. It's still my favorite of the 3-packs. It's one of my favorite of Joy Toys releases. I love the helmet. It screams Titanfall pilot to me, and this looks like a Titanfall pilot, and it's just absolutely fantastic. Love this figure. The backpack fits perfectly on the figure. It's not as dainty as some of the other previous backpacks. You can remove the helmet, obviously, and there's his head. It just looks so cool. It looks absolutely fantastic. I love the paint, the weathering on here. It looks so good. The flowing cloak or scarf. It's technically a scarf. Looks really cool. I love the aesthetic of this figure, and it can do whatever I want it to do, pretty much. He can pose any way I want him to have him posed. I've been recently taking a lot of photos with these guys because I want to take a lot more photos because my AC-130 is still in Buffalo, and I want to have these guys kind of jumping out of the back. But I also have him posed with my Freeman mech, the 1/18 scale Freeman mech, and I think I usually pair those two up together. This is obviously the one with the sniper rifle. I just kind of grabbed him, and I kind of make him the leader of the trio. But everything from paint detail to articulation to range of motion, this is like the total package. This is like this is a 4-inch figure on steroids. It's so well done. And this figure came out this year, and he'll fit into the mech as well. Obviously, I'm going to have to take the backpack off, but I just love the look of this guy. So we'll just put him right there. And that's pretty much the entire 3-pack too. Next up, I'll make another pick from the Joy Toy Selection. And it's gonna be, who could it be? I don't know, get that off. There we go. And if I can find the other one, I will put them in there too. Get him in here. Come here, sir. We'll come back to him. We will come back to him. Next up, it's going to be the Joy Toy Paladin, aka Tom Cruise. It just looks like Tom Cruise. It just gives off that Tom Cruise vibe. But this is another one of my favorites, and like I said, he's not as sci-fi and a little bit more futuristic military as the paratroopers or some of the other three packs or figure releases that we got from Joy Toy. But it's nice to have a little bit more of a future aesthetic with a modern look to him as well. And it's pretty cool that we have pegs where we do. Obviously, some of these pegs that Joy Toy puts on their figures is a little weird, but the overall aesthetic looks great. I actually had to send for Strident's birthday. I sent him this figure, and I was like, man, I got to make sure he's got this in his collection. Hopefully he enjoys it, but yeah, I like the heavier tack vest on him. It looks really cool. I love all the detail. Like, you just cannot get detail like this from Hasbro. You cannot, not in GI Joe form. There's no way. But he looks great. This is definitely one of my favorites. Worth every penny that I paid for him. These are removable as well. So, I mean, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I already did a review. If you guys want to check out that review, you can. But, yeah, this is Paladin. He's definitely up there as far as favorites go. Favorite figures in my collection, period. You're having trouble finding a resource for all of Joy Toy's output so far. Catch up on what I missed. Between Small Joe's, Big Bad Toy Store, and Locker Toys. Locker Toys usually tries to get some of their older stock out quickly for the new stuff, but they still have some older stuff on there. I'm pretty sure Big Bad Toy Store still has Paladin up. You can even find Paladin and some of the other figures on Amazon too. You might have faster shipping that way as well. So you can look them up there. Paladin, I know for a fact that Paladin, when he came out, went for around 35 to 40 bucks. 40, I think, from like Big Bad Toy Store if you picked him up there. And then I think 30 from like Locker Toys when he came out. Small Joe's might have him as well, but double check. Don't quote me on that. All right, last one. And we'll call it a day. I did want to add a Transformer in here, but that's a tough one. Actually, I know I'll pick one Transformer and then we'll move on. I want to get that one. I'll include that one in the next video, actually. But who is gonna be next? Next. You know what? I'm gonna go with a. You know what? I wasn't actually expecting to like this guy as much as I did. I was like, he's cool, but But I actually like him a little bit more. It's a little bit more than I actually thought I was going to. And he's still kind of growing on me, but I guess I could call him one of my favorites because he's unique looking. But it is what you call it? Wolf, I believe. Is this Wolf? Am I wrong? Is this Wolf? I don't know. I call him Randy Orton because he looks like Randy Orton. He's got the Randy Orton tattoos. But Wolf, he looks awesome. He's a very unique look. We don't get a whole lot of tattooed characters, so it's nice to have a tattooed character. It stands apart from the rest of the pack, Blade, that's right. Blade was the other one. I was almost going to call him Blade, but yeah. I like the tack vest he's got. It looks really cool. Very unique looking. He does come with an AK. I like to actually It's kind of like a buddy cop thing that I have going with Blade and Wolf. They're kind of like undercover police officers together. So I like to kind of do little adventures with those two. But he looks really cool. Like I said, he's not like the most extravagant Joy Toy figure ever, but he's unique, and I can really dig that. So he's definitely one of my favorites. And like I said, if I don't include someone, it doesn't mean that one is more important than the other. It's just these are just some of my favorites. And like I said, a lot of the figures that I have that I own are just simply not physically here. So, but this will be an ongoing series. So, but there's Wolf, and he knocked over. So we'll switch here. We'll put Tom Cruise, Paladin over here. There we go. We'll put Wolf over here. There you go, Wolfie. But, all right. I did say I was going to include one in here. I still really dig this. It's technically not an official Hasbro release. So this is more third party, but it's another figure my eyes get drawn to. And maybe it's because he's, like I said, another one of my favorite characters, and I'm definitely going to have to back up the camera for this. Don't mind this. Let me get this out of the way. We're starting to get other stuff in the background here. It's and I did shoot this review, so if you guys want to check that out, you can. What the heck is his name? Oh, okay, there we go. It is the Mastermind Creations Spartan action figure, which is Impactor. And Impactor is one of my favorite Transformers characters. If you don't know anything about Impactor, I definitely suggest you read Last Stand of the Wreckers. It's still one of my favorite stories from Transformers. And this is like one of the best, one of the coolest, I shouldn't say one of the best, one of the coolest figures I own. His transformation's really not hard at all. A lot of third party, Transformers are kind of, I don't know, over-engineered, and the transformations are way too complex sometimes. I know essentially like these are action figures, but they're also puzzles, and that's the cool part too. I love puzzles and stuff like that, but when it gets too convoluted as far as the transformation goes, it takes away some of the fun of the actual figure. You know, it's like I just want it to be not the easiest thing in the world, but you know, easy enough where I can just kind of do it while watching a show or something. You know, but I love this figure. It looks great. Like I said, the transformation, the sculpt, the articulation, range of motion on him, he's great. He can bend his knees. He can do whatever you want him to. He looks like a complete awesome badass. I just love it. His tank mode, it looks like something out of Metal Slug. It looks great. I love it. And yeah, just another one of my favorites. I'm knocking people over again. Sorry. Let me get this up there. There we go. But I love the harpoon hand. The harpoon hand is much needed for Impactor. He does come with a regular hand as well. But he's got his gun. He's got his big cannon on his shoulder. It's just so awesome. I actually added in some extra details. There's like a detail sticker pack that you can buy from I can't remember the name of that damn website offhand, but I'll try and post it in the comments below after this video uploads. But little aesthetics that were added to it, like these stickers right here for little metal rivets and such. These two stickers here, those were added in. Obviously the Autobot symbol on the chest, which is accurate to the character, was added. This little piece right here was added. The rib stickers were added, and it's just a sticker pack. So it's just little things like that kind of give it that extra oomph. These stickers right here on the feet, and then the stickers right there on the shins. But it's just a little bit, a little detail that kind of helps the figure pop that much more. Because at the end of the day, these are third-party figures, and they can't really use logos because they're technically not an actual Hasbro, Takara, Tomy design, or not design, but licensed product. So I also put the Wreckers logo on his left arm. So there it is right there. So, but yeah, pretty awesome. Love this figure. And that's pretty much it for the Series 1. I think, like I said, maybe in the continued series down the road, I'll probably whittle this down so it's not so many action figures all at once. So it's not an overwhelming video and there's like just stuff all in the way. I got to move him. Like, there's not enough room for everybody to be seen here, but I want everybody to be seen here. And Luke's lightsaber is being rude. Stop being rude with your lightsaber, sir. You couldn't see Cyclops' head. But like I said, this is just something I've been wanting to do. It's something different. It's a little bit different of a concept. It's nothing too crazy, but it's just, something fun to do on my spare time. Who's the last character standing up in that group? Which one? This guy? Right here? If you're talking about this guy, this is technically, it's made by Mastermind Creations. It's a third-party Transformer-esque figure. It is technically the IDW version of Impactor, but that's Impactor from Transformers. Who walks away from down beyond between those characters? He said, no, who walks away from the throwdown between all those characters. Oops, I'm hitting the wrong buttons here. I'm not sure. Does that thing take Superman? I'm not sure what you're asking here, Shinobi. Paz Vizsla is blocking poor Soups there. How do you think the Mastermind Impactor compares to the Hasbro one? This is way more expensive, and it's hard to compare them because one's a $20 figure and this is like an $80 figure. So it's like kind of comparing budgets like that. It's hard to do. If there was no budget and they were both $20 figures, obviously I would go with this. I still like the Hasbro one. I just don't like it as much as this because I think this is the definitive looking Impactor. But also, scale wise, he's a little bit larger because Mastermind Creations uses kind of its own scale. So it's kind of a give and take. It's hard for me to give you a definitive answer there. I like both, but for different reasons. One is a $20 figure and one's an $80 figure with more detail and more articulation, more range of motion, a lot more of everything. If there was a fight between all of them, who's the last one standing? Oh, okay. Who's the last one standing? With Superman, without a doubt. Absolutely, without a doubt, it's Superman's going to win that fight. He's probably going to win the majority of fights. Luke's Jedi mind tricks might take him. Well, it only works on the weak-minded, and Superman is genius level, so I don't think it would work on Superman. So, his green kryptonite saber. If it was kryptonite, it would work. It would cut him too. But yeah, I definitely think if there was a fight here, it would definitely be Superman. There's actually a couple figures that are still up here that I wanted to include, but we'll include that for the next one. No big deal. I don't want to overdo it here. This is already overdoing it. I'm still dreading putting all these back now. My review table is looking like a disaster area I struck. If I were to think of three DC Universe classics that would be there, what would it be? Well, I mean, I don't want to ruin it. I mean, isn't that kind of the fun of doing this? If I were to add them in, you know. Thank you, Shinobi. I appreciate it. All right. Well, I'll play devil's advocate, or not devil's advocate, but I'll play with what you're asking me, action figure expert. Um, there's so many of them. It's hard, like, and especially if I'm including collecting connects. Uh, Clemo is a really good one. I even though he's simple, Black Cat is I love that figure. Either version, whether it's the pink or the pink, the purple or the black one. I have both versions, but it's a simple figure. There's nothing too crazy about it, but I love that head sculpt. It looks so classic and perfect, and I love the character too of Black Cat. Wildcat. What the fuck am I talking about? Oh my god, Black Cat. Now I'm talking about Spider-Man characters. That's what I meant to say. I meant to say Wildcat. For some reason, Black Cat came out. I don't know why. Black Cat. Actually, my brain thought it was saying Wildcat, and Black Cat came out of my mouth. I don't know. I don't know what happened. You know what? I still don't have Giganta. That's the one I don't have. That's still the one I don't have. I have the legs. I have the arms. I don't have the head and the lower torso. I even have the upper torso. I need that crotch piece and I need her head. And I can't fathom paying $100 for a head and a crotch piece. So that's the only one I don't have, and I pretty much have like 90% of that figure done. I'm just, it's just frustrating how much that figure goes for. A third one would probably be, there's so many good Batmans. It's technically not even a DCUC, but the DC superheroes Batman, the gray and black one, or the blue and black, or blue and oh my god, the gray and black or the blue and gray, excuse me, DC superheroes action figure. That's always will always be one of my favorites. I can't talk. My brain's not working. I'm dehydrated too. I needed something to drink. When I'm dehydrated, I start talking like a buffoon. Everybody needs a gigantus crotch piece in their life. Oh my god. Oh my god. But yeah, I think those would be three to start with. But it's so tough because I'd have to like look at all of them and I can't look at them, so it's frustrating. But DC Universe Classics, man, oh my god, did I ever have fun collecting? That was one line where I had so much fun collecting. I love that line. Still to this day, it will always hold, excuse me, a special place in my heart. It's how I met the majority of my friends from YouTube. I met Strident from talking about DC Universe Classics and doing DCUC reviews. That's how I started my channel pretty much, was doing DC Universe Classics reviews on a daily basis. But that's how I met all the rogues. I met Stu. I met Rob's Rogues. I met Automatica. I met, so many people from just collecting an action figure line. That's how I met all those people. Um, so it's pretty awesome when you find something that you're passionate about. Metallo, yeah, I actually recently, well, within, what was it? I think just before I moved, I picked up Metallo, and he's a really good one. I think his chest piece removes, and there's a sculpted kryptonite inside the chest cavity, which is awesome. The body is kind of worrisome, though. If you get like I got actually like a nice, tightly wound joints for my Metallo that I picked up, but a lot of people's Metallos they had a lot of loose joints and he's kind of floppy and doesn't stand well. Another one that's really cool and they tried with it was Metamorpho. Metamorpho was a really good a smaller collecting connect, but a fun collecting connect. There's certain issues that I had with like arms or legs popping off here and there. But they tried, and I thought the sculpt on Metamorpho was really awesome. Also, Stell is a really good figure. Stell is a very underrated figure that not a lot of people talk about. And obviously, Kilowog is a really good collecting connect. I'm just thinking off the top of my head now. YouTube rocks, see a lot of gripping I see a lot of griping, excuse me, from people about censorship on here, but it's really an amazing service platform for communication. Yeah, I mean, YouTube is cool. I'm in from a creator standpoint, it is kind of a bitch. They for a while within the last like 5 years, they've had a lot of creators jumping through hoops to, you know, change a lot of stuff. You know, but I guess that's part of the game. When the whole Kappa thing happened, everybody was flipping out. I was like, just calm down, people. And look what happened. Nothing. People are like flipping out. I'm gonna delete my channel and I'm like, you need to calm your tits and sit down. So, well, I just got a really bad case of deja vu all of a sudden. Like I just said that before. I probably did. I mean, don't hesitate. I mean, Shinobi, if you want to start your own channel, do it, man. Go for it. Absolutely, go for it. It's still fun to do. I do this for fun. I don't do this for money. I mean, I don't make much money off my channel anyway. I just do this because I enjoy doing it. Some people get into YouTube for the wrong reasons, and then when they're not successful, they blame YouTube. It's like, no, it's not YouTube's fault. You're unsuccessful. You know. Seems like a nice creative outlet. It is. It is. There's not really anything that, as far as how YouTube works, holding the library that it does. I still have videos from when I started my channel back in 2012. So I let my nephew play with my DCUC Wonder Woman, and now she's in pieces. Oh God, why did you do that? HoloNet, why did you do that? That's another one that for the time, that was probably the best Wonder Woman as far as like a classic looking pre New 52 Wonder Woman. That was like the bee's knees right there. Even if you got the variant, which was Valkyrie, that's a really good figure too, with a really good head sculpt. So I think either route you went with that figure, it's a very good one. But I think that might do it here. Unless you guys have any more questions or anything like that, I might call it a night. Was that you or your dog? That was actually a Glade automatic scent. I don't know what you call those. Scent spitter. They for every like we have like five of them in the house, and they every like 35 minutes they shoot out a Glade scent so it doesn't stink. The house isn't stinky. Yeah, hard to find a good classic Wonder Woman. Yeah, no, there's so many versions, especially like when the New 52 started. Then they went New 52 nuts. And I was like, New 52 is not that good, man. Compared to new pre New 52 stories and comics and stuff, I was like, yeah, eek. No, I'm not really feeling it. Not to say that there weren't some good stories, like Court of Owls is fantastic. I wasn't really that big of a fan of Death of the Family. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's okay. It's not a bad story, but George Perez Wonder Woman aesthetic is one of my all-time favorites. Yes, I agree. Pizza. Okay. Pizza. Just randomly pizza. I'll be having pizza in about a week because I'm going back home, and then I'll be coming back with a bunch more of my figures, which is fantastic. All right, action figure expert. Thanks for popping in, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out. Have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about going back home too for Thanksgiving. I'm actually going back for a full week. So, taco, burrito. What's coming out of your Speedo? You got trouble. Woo, you're blowing bubbles. Who can name where that's from? Who can name what that's from? Taco, burrito. What's coming out of your Speedo? You got trouble. Woo, you're blowing bubbles. Anybody know that? Anybody know that quote? Everybody's Googling it right now. Yep, Low Monty got it. It's from Saturday Night Live. It's the old Will Ferrell and Sherry O'Terry cheerleader skit. When they're doing it, the what was it? I think they're cheering at the pool or the pool race or whatever, the swim race, swim rally. You were thinking it was two live crew? Yep, cheerleaders. That's right. But all right, I think I'll end it here. This is I've gone on long enough now. Now I'm just babbling, babbling. But yeah, so this will be like I said, an ongoing series. Like I said, don't know how often the series will be. When I upload them, they will be uploaded though. I don't know if I'm going to do another live one. I think I'm just kind of doing the live one to kind of kick off the series, and then I'll move on from there. As far as probably doing one video per for this. But like I said, this has been something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.